When Martha turned 78, her children convinced her that moving to a nursing home was the best option. "You'll have everything you need," they promised. Care, comfort, and company. On paper, it seemed like the right decision. But 6 months later, Martha sat alone in her small room, staring at 4 unfamiliar walls, and whispered to herself, "I've made a terrible mistake." What Martha discovered, what thousands of seniors discover too late, is that nursing home living often isn't what it's portrayed to be in glossy brochures and during carefully orchestrated tours. The reality can be starkly different from the promise. Today I want to share 3 critical truths about nursing home living that few people discuss openly. Insights gathered from seniors who've lived this reality firsthand. Whether you're considering this option for yourself or a loved one, these are things you need to know before making a decision that could profoundly change the quality of your remaining years. The reality is, once you move into a nursing home, getting out isn't as simple as changing your mind. The choices you make today will shape how you spend your final chapter of life. And while nursing homes are necessary and beneficial for some, they're not right for everyone. Stay with me until the end, because the third truth is something that rarely gets discussed but impacts seniors the most deeply. This information could completely change how you approach aging and care decisions. Don't miss the final insight. It's one that most people overlook, yet it holds incredible power in predicting what lies ahead. These markers could completely reshape how you see your future and add valuable years to your life. If this has sparked your interest, show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this video with those you care about. Together, let's make informed choices for a healthier, longer life. If you're finding value in this discussion already, please comment "listening" below so I know you're here. Your engagement helps this important information reach others who need to hear it too. Now, let's dive into the first hidden truth. Truth number 1. The loss of independence happens faster than you think. When Robert moved into Golden Sunset Care Center at 82, he wasn't particularly ill or incapacitated. He could dress himself, prepare simple meals, and enjoyed his daily walks around the neighborhood. He moved in because living alone after his wife died felt lonely, and his daughter worried about him falling with no one around to help. "I'll have more freedom," he thought. No more home maintenance, cooking, or worrying about getting to doctor's appointments. Within 3 months, Robert's reality looked very different. His day was scheduled around the facility's routines, not his own. Breakfast at 7:30 a.m. sharp, whether he was hungry or not. Medications at set times. Showers on assigned days with staff assistants, even though he was perfectly capable of bathing himself. The walking he once enjoyed became limited to scheduled activities or supervised strolls around a small garden. His muscles weakened from disuse. Soon he found himself needing a walker, not because of any new medical condition, but because his body was adapting to a more sedentary lifestyle. This is the first truth many seniors don't realize until it's too late. In nursing homes, independence often erodes much faster than necessary. Not because of declining health, but because of institutional routines and safety protocols that prioritize efficiency over autonomy. Think about it. In your own home, you decide when to wake up, what to eat, when to bathe, and how to spend your day. These small choices might seem insignificant, but they form the foundation of your identity and dignity. In institutional settings, these choices are often made for you, and the impact on mental and physical health can be profound. Eleanor, a former high school principal who moved to a nursing home at 85, put it this way: "I ran a school with hundreds of students for 30 years. Now I need permission to have a cup of tea after dinner hours. It's not just frustrating. It changes how you see yourself." The physical decline often follows a predictable pattern. Within weeks, decreased walking and standing leads to reduced balance and coordination. Within months, muscle strength deteriorates, making independent movement harder within a year. Many seniors require assistance for activities they could previously do alone. This decline isn't inevitable with aging. It's accelerated by environments that don't encourage independence. What can you do to maintain independence if a nursing home becomes necessary? First, research facilities thoroughly. Look for places that emphasize resident autonomy and offer flexible schedules. Ask specific questions about how they support independence. Can residents choose their own mealtimes? Are they encouraged to do things for themselves when possible? Can they access outdoor spaces freely? Second, create a clear care plan that specifies which activities you or your loved one wants to continue doing independently. Put it in writing and review it regularly with staff. Third, stay physically active however possible. Even simple movements like standing up without assistance multiple times daily can help maintain strength. Advocate for physical therapy, not just when recovering from an illness, but preventatively. Most importantly, be prepared to advocate consistently and firmly for the right to make your own choices whenever possible. The squeaky wheel often gets the oil in these settings. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, please comment "Independence Matters" below. Your engagement helps this important content reach more people who need it. Now let's move on to the second hidden truth. Truth number 2. The social experience is nothing like you expect. You'll make so many new friends, they told Margaret when she reluctantly agreed to move into Pinewood Manor at 79. You'll never be lonely with all the activities and other residents around you. 6 months later, Margaret sat alone in the community room, watching groups of residents who rarely interacted with each other. Some stared vacantly at a television playing a show no one had chosen. Others dozed in wheelchairs. The promised card games, book clubs, and lively discussions happened occasionally, but were often canceled due to staffing issues or low participation. This is the second truth about nursing home living. The social environment is rarely the vibrant community depicted in brochures. Instead, many seniors find themselves in settings where meaningful social connection is surprisingly difficult to maintain. There are several reasons for this reality. First, nursing homes group people together based on one shared characteristic. They need some level of care. Beyond that, residents may have vastly different backgrounds, interests, cognitive abilities, and personalities. Imagine being placed in a living situation where your only commonality with others is age and need for assistance. Would you automatically form deep friendships? James, a retired engineer who moved to a nursing home at 76, described it this way. At home, I chose my friends based on shared interests and values. Here, we're thrown together like strangers on a bus, expected to become instant companions simply because we all need help bathing. Second, many nursing home residents are coping with loss of health, home, independence, and identity. This grief can make forming new connections difficult. Depression and anxiety are common among nursing home residents, creating additional barriers to social engagement. Third, staff shortages and institutional priorities often mean that meaningful activities take a backseat to basic care tasks. The art class mentioned during the tour might happen once a month rather than weekly. The music program might be a radio playing in the corner rather than the interactive experience described. Then there's the issue of family visits. Many families start with good intentions, visiting regularly in the first few months. But gradually, visits become less frequent as life gets busy, and the nursing home environment feels depressing or uncomfortable. Richard, 84, shared his experience. My daughter used to visit every Sunday. Then it became every other Sunday. Now I might see her once a month. She has her own life, and this place is depressing. I understand why she doesn't come more often, but it doesn't make the loneliness any easier. So what can you do to create a better social experience? First, maintain outside relationships proactively. Don't rely solely on family visits. Use technology to stay connected. Video calls, social media, and email can help bridge the distance. Ask for help, setting these up if needed. Second, be selective about facility activities. Rather than trying to participate in everything, identify the few events that truly interest you and attend those consistently, giving yourself the opportunity to connect with the same people repeatedly. Third, consider how you might maintain a role that gives you purpose and connection. Could you become the unofficial greeter for new residents, the person who helps organize the library books? Finding ways to contribute can create more meaningful interactions than simply participating as a recipient. Fourth, if possible, look for facilities that offer private rooms or shared spaces with compatible roommates. Having personal space to retreat to can make social interactions more enjoyable when you do choose to engage. Most importantly, Be realistic about the social environment. Nursing homes can provide care and safety, but they rarely provide the rich community life many seniors hope for. Knowing this in advance allows you to make plans to supplement your social needs through other means. If you're finding this information helpful, please comment "connection counts" below. Your engagement helps this video reach others who need this information too. Now let's discuss the third and perhaps most profound truth that seniors wish they had known before moving to a nursing home. Truth number 3. The psychological impact of institutional living goes deeper than you can imagine. When Thomas, a retired professor, moved into Willow Grove Care Center, he packed his favorite books, photos of his late wife, and the hand-carved chess set his grandfather had made. He was determined to make his new space feel like home. 2 years later, when his grandson asked him what was hardest about nursing home living, Thomas didn't mention the food or the schedules, or even the lack of privacy. Instead, he said quietly, "I feel like I've disappeared. I used to be Professor Thomas Wilson. Now I'm just room 237, the diabetic with mobility issues." This is perhaps the most profound and least discussed truth about nursing home living. The psychological impact of becoming institutionalized affects nearly every aspect of well-being. When you move into an institutional setting, large parts of your identity, your home, your routines, your role in your community, your sense of purpose, are stripped away, often within days. What replaces them is an institutional identity centered around your care needs, your compliance with facility rules, and your dependence on others. This shift affects people at a deep psychological level. Many seniors experience a loss of personal narrative, the feeling that they're no longer the author of their own life story, but rather a character in an institutional script they didn't write and can't edit. A diminished sense of purpose. When daily activities focus primarily on passing time rather than creating meaning, life satisfaction plummets. Environmental infantilization, being spoken to like a child, having decisions made for you, and needing permission for basic activities creates a psychological regression that can be profoundly damaging to mental health. Helen, a 92-year-old who had lived in a nursing home for 3 years, explained it this way. "In my home, I was a person with a past, present, and future. Here, I'm often treated as if I have only a present, and a diminished one at that. People don't ask about my life before, and they certainly don't talk about my future." Research consistently shows that perceived loss of control is one of the most significant predictors of depression, cognitive decline, and even decreased lifespan in elderly populations. When the environment continually reinforces the message that you are helpless, dependent, and defined by your limitations, your brain begins to accept this as reality. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual and often subtle. But over months, many nursing home residents internalize institutional identities that bear little resemblance to how they once saw themselves. Dorothy, who moved into a nursing home at 81, described it as a slow fading. She said, "First you give up making your own meals, then choosing when to bathe, then managing your own medications. Each small surrender seems reasonable in the moment, but eventually, you look up and realize you've surrendered your whole self, piece by piece." So what can be done to preserve psychological well-being in institutional settings? First, maintain symbols of your identity. Keep objects that connect you to your past roles and achievements visible. Continue wearing your own clothes rather than facility-provided garments whenever possible. Use your full name, not just your first name, in interactions. Second, create routines that you control. Even small daily rituals, a specific way you arrange your morning coffee, a particular order in which you read the newspaper sections, can provide a sense of autonomy. Third, continue to set goals, however modest. Whether it's reading a certain number of books, mastering a new card game, or writing letters to grandchildren, having forward-moving objectives helps maintain a sense of future. Fourth, look for opportunities to give rather than just receive. Offering advice, sharing skills, or simply listening to others can help maintain your identity as a contributor rather than just a recipient of care. Fifth, and perhaps most importantly, find ways to continue your life story. Keep a journal, record audio memories, or share stories with visitors. The act of narrating your continuing life experience helps integrate your past self with your present circumstances. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, please comment "Psychology Matters" below. Your engagement helps others find this important content. As we reach the end of our discussion, it's important to emphasize that nursing homes serve a vital purpose in our care system. For seniors with complex medical needs, or those who truly cannot live safely in other settings, they provide necessary support and supervision. The goal of sharing these three truths, the rapid loss of independence, the reality of the social environment, and the profound psychological impact, isn't to demonize nursing homes. Rather, it's to ensure that decisions about late-life care are made with clear-eyed understanding of the full impact of institutional living. For many seniors, alternatives like aging in place with home care services, living with family members with support, or moving to less restrictive assisted living communities might better preserve quality of life. These options often cost less than nursing homes while maintaining more autonomy and connection. If nursing home care becomes necessary, entering with awareness of these challenges allows for proactive strategies to mitigate their impact. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's the power to advocate for yourself or your loved one more effectively. Remember Martha from the beginning of our discussion? After 8 months in the nursing home, her daughter noticed her declining spirits and growing frailty. Together, they made the decision to try a different approach. Martha moved into a small apartment attached to her daughter's home, with home health aides visiting several times weekly. The transition wasn't simple, but Martha soon regained much of her independence, reconnected with old friends, and found her health improving. "I feel like myself again," she told her daughter. "Not just a patient, but a person." Whatever decisions you face about late-life care, remember that dignity, autonomy, and meaningful connection are not luxury items. They're essential components of well-being at any age. The best care preserves not just physical health, but the whole person. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from this information. Your support helps us continue creating content that addresses real concerns with honesty and practical guidance. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you encountered these realities in your own life or with loved ones? What strategies have helped you navigate these challenges? Your insights might help someone else facing similar decisions. Thank you for joining me for this important conversation. Until next time, remember that informed choices lead to better outcomes, and it's never too late to advocate for a life of dignity and meaning.